Hey, let me get this. Hold on. Why is it doing this? Not for the first. Hold on. Boom. Okay. All right. Oops, sorry. There you go. So, I have first off, welcome back. I appreciate you guys. Everybody that subscribed within the past couple weeks. You know, I've tried a bunch of different things. I've tried streaming consistently. I've tried making YouTube videos. Um, I've tried making shorts. And I kind of went into a little slump. Okay. And basically, I came to the realization that I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to make content all the time. And you know, as a person who, you know, like I'm gonna call it, I'm fairly new. I was making TikToks, you know, last year and a little bit the year before, like here here and there, but like I I'm better just talking. And so, you know, as much as I like, you know, love playing video games, unless there's people in there, I'm going to be focused on the video game. And so I literally today was like, why don't I just do a talking podcast where I talk about topics I want to talk about? You know, I have my TikToks where I post random stuff, but I would like it to be here so that way you guys we can do a live engagement. And so this is going to be the first episode. I think I'm going to call it something on the like what you yapping about, because you know, I think it's funny. A lot of people always like, oh, boy's just yapping, you're just yapping, and it's like, pun intended, it's true, I am just yapping. So I kind of want to do that. So today's going to be the first episode of this podcast, and if you guys like this, yo, leave a like, subscribe, let me know if you guys like it or not, and also I want to take some suggestions. So from what I've kind of gathered, I probably would do this once a week or something. I'm definitely thinking about doing a podcast with my girlfriend. I think that would be fun. She's got a lot to talk about. So I'd like to get her opinions on things and see just see how how we correlate things and just get a different person's view. But in this video, uh in this podcast, I want to talk about, you know, the things that are, you know, like deep down in my heart. Don't get me wrong, I will on the other one, but like I just want to talk about certain things. And also I want to talk about things that you guys have. So also I want to take your guys' suggestions. So what we'll do is we'll probably do, all right, so today we're probably going to do 3 topics. It just depends on how long we talk about these topics. But if you guys have suggestions, we'll probably maybe do like 3 of mine and 3 of your guys's, whichever one has the most comments or most likes or whatever is upvoted, whatever. So yeah. And so if you guys do, put that in the comments, let me know. And if you guys, again, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I do a bunch of different types of content. I'm learning, I'm growing. I'm a new streamer. I'm a young streamer. I'm a rookie streamer, but I'm learning. I'm working every day. I've had to refocus my efforts back into DoorDash. I kind of took the last 2 months and kind of not focused on it because I was trying to focus on streaming, but at the end of the day, I need money, right? And so with that being said, I had to focus on that. So I haven't really been posting a lot lately, and I haven't been streaming a lot lately. I actually, off stream, I don't play that much video games. And I know that sounds bad for someone who's trying to stream video games, but this is going to be one of the topics. The games aren't just fun for me right now, and we'll get into that, but that'll be later. But what we'll do eventually is I'll have a screen overlay. I'll have everything going on. I'll have chat on there, and I'll set it up. I just wanted to get this episode out because I wanted to shoot from the heart and just try and see what's going on. I'm trying to give people time to get in here if people do join. But if not, they'll enjoy the yapping that I'm about to preach. So let's get into topic number 1. All right. Topic number 1 is the Chiefs call that happened against the Bills. And there's a lot of different ways you could look at it. And and this is the thing you guys will learn about me is like I try to understand every side and then kind of figure out which one I'm willing to accept. And so I want to make that clear so that way you guys can go with me. Also, what we can do as I'm talking, what we can do is maybe I can talk about the topic for 5 to 10 minutes, and then maybe we do 5 minutes of comments or questions or whatever, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So let's get into this. So here is what happened with the Chiefs call. Okay, Tony lined up offsides. Is it a penalty in the NFL? Yes, it is. The ref is supposed to call that. Got it. Agreed. Okay, face value, he was offsides, call it, no problem. Here is the problem that I have with the call is if he has been offsides multiple times in the game, then you should have called it the first 4 or 5 times that he was offsides. Don't wait and ref a game a certain way all game long, and then finally, with a minute left in the game, call the penalty. That is bad refereeing. Whatever Band-Aid, bow, whatever, however you want to cover it, that's just what it is. It is bad refereeing when referees decide that they're going to call a game a certain way, and then in the last minute changes up what they call. This happens in basketball often as well, and it's very frustrating. And this is why I was defending it, because if they had said to him multiple times that he needs to back off the line, there's 2 things you could take away. Kudos to the refs for doing their job, but also you can backhand them and say, well, why don't you just call the flag? If he does it in the first play of the game, call it. Why is it such a why are we doing that? And again, like I said, I try to figure out both sides. So here is what I know is refs are inconsistent. That's what it is. Straight face value, refs are inconsistent, right? So if we're going to play the inconsistency game, this is what I would say. You have to play the referee game if the referee is going to be inconsistent. If you're going to be Tony and you're going to line up offsides and you're trying, let's say he was trying to get an advantage, everybody else should be quiet about it. Be quiet about it. Because now it's a emphasis, it was a focus. It made the national news with ESPN and NFL Fox. I was watching a YouTube video before this of them talking about it. Now it's a thing. So what do you think now for the next couple weeks everybody's going to be looking at? Are players lined up offsides, especially the wide receivers? So now, because everybody yapped their mouth about it, and no shots to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, because I understand like what their frustration is. But now everybody's going to be aware of it. And so now what's happening is now the refs are going to go into games looking for the call. And this is the problem with the call in itself. If the call hasn't been called all game long and then they call it in, that is a problem with the refs. And that is a clear, statement that the refs are deciding games based off how they feel throughout the game. And that is not right. Right? Like I said, if they were calling that call all game long, nobody would have been upset about it. But they didn't. And then all of a sudden they decided. So anybody that's defending like, oh, well, a penalty is a penalty. A penalty is a penalty. Or, the Chiefs always get calls. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, you guys are kind of just like, first off, the people that say a penalty is a penalty, I agree with you. But then that needs to be a penalty in the first quarter as it is in the fourth quarter, right? Don't just say it's a penalty because you're just defending this call because it was egregious to everybody that was watching on TV. Like you can see that he was offsides. Don't say it's a penalty now. And then when your team has a penalty go against you and they pull a touchdown back, don't get upset about it. That's just the nature of the beast. If you're going to bitch about how calls should be called a penalty, then everything should be called a penalty, and you're going to have to deal with all these penalties. And I'm not saying that I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it that way. What I'm saying is if they're going to call games and you guys want it to be penalties, which I'm okay with because that's what the rules are. If there's a penalty, call the penalty, but call it from the first play. Don't pick and choose when you're going to call certain plays. And this notion that, you know, like for instance, like in basketball especially, like they'll call certain games based off the physicality of the players in the game. That's not how you ref a game. If you go into a game and you know the players are rough, all you need to say is, hey guys, just remember that as I know you guys play a bully ball type of game, but we're not going to allow that to be getting overused, you know, or go too far. Like that's different. But if you're calling the game and it's bully ball the entire game long, and then in the fourth quarter, they're like, ticky-tack foul, ticky-tack foul, ticky-tack foul, that's not fun. And that's the refs determining how games are going to be won and lost. The refs, again, I've said this on my TikTok, and again, TikTok, AngelX24X, same name. And I posted a clip there too. Damn, I lost my point. Pause, I lost my point. Damn, I had a good point. Oh, no. Yeah, anyways, I had a good point. Damn it, I had a good point. And I lost it. It just went out my head. Anyways, you guys understand what I'm saying. If you're going to call it in the first quarter, call it in the fourth quarter. Now, if, like, understanding that, right, that's not a thing, right? Like, obviously we understand that that's what's happening. But again, I feel like if that's going to happen, right? Like if the referees are going to call games different based off of the different players in this, they should be penalized for it. If there was a clear, like, difference between the first quarter and the fourth quarter on how the game was being reffed, because understandably, right? Ideally, if there's more penalties in the first quarter, there should be less throughout the game because the players are understanding they can't get away with things. If there's more penalties at the end of the game, that means that the refs were allowing the players to play, and then the players kind of kept inching along and taking more and more and more, and then now they have to call penalty. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So they need to, and to this podcast, I will do my bitching and my yapping and my complaining, but then I will offer solutions. Here is my suggestion to go into it. There is so many rules and penalties in the game that it would be hard to, like, pick and choose which ones you guys are going to focus on. Now, the NFL does it, which is fucking annoying. It's stupid. It's retarded. It doesn't make any sense that they're going to go into this. Like, apparently this year they're going in, they're looking at the offsides or whatever. And speaking of that, I had people in my TikTok comments saying that, there's been 11 offsides penalties. 8 of those were quarterback sneaks or the tush push. So 3 of them are actually offsides. Get that shit out of here. Anyways, with there being so many penalties and rules, just call the game from the beginning. And then what I think they should do is they should have challenges, more challenges that you can call on certain calls. Because I know right now there's limitations on what you can call. They need to give you maybe like 4 or 5 or 6 challenges, allowing you to call a play, like to challenge a play based off of a call. Because a lot of the calls can go either way, and a lot of the calls are kind of just either blatantly missed or just overblown. And so that would be my solution, is you would have more challenges so that way the refs can just ref the game. But again, I would also argue that instead of it just being a penalty right out the jump, right? Like there should be some help warning. Now, again, a lot of people are going to sit here and argue and yell at me about, the player needs to know that they're onside. They need to make sure that they check with the ref. I understand that, but bro, it goes both ways. Stop being one-sided. Put yourself in your shoes. You're on the line. You fucking are locked in. You're thinking about your route. It's the fourth quarter. You're focused on the game, not if you were lined up correctly. Yeah, it slipped you 1 second. They hike the ball, play happens, they call a flag on you. And normally, right, because this is what happens, right? Normally, the ref usually kind of says something to me. He's like, yo, 82, 81, back up a little bit. And this one time they don't say it, but they didn't say it all game long. You see how that's kind of some bullshit? So this is what I would say. I would say that the refs need to be held more accountable, right? They just need, like everybody says, which I agree, call the game. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Call it. Absolutely. I'm okay with that. But if you start to see a deviation, right, if that's the right word, from how the game is being called, then there should be a penalty for them, right? Like, for players, if they're having a bad game, guess what? They take a seat. I would also argue that the refs could do that. Like, I hate to say it, but the refs are 50% of what's going on in the game. 50%. So they should have backup referees ready to go in the game. And if one ref is having a bad day, you get him out of there. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. You guys let me know what y'all think. I'm telling you, it's not about the Chiefs getting extra calls or getting every call. It's not about, like, I'm not a Bills. I'm an Eagles fan, bro. You guys see this? I'm an Eagles fan. It's not about the Chiefs. It's not about the Bills. It's about football being played at its best. We saw a great play get pulled back because a wide receiver was offsides, and he was offsides multiple times during the game, and the refs didn't warn him. Or which is their job, is they didn't penalize him, so they allowed the bad behavior to happen, which then it finally got to the point where it was egregious, and then they called it. That is bad refereeing, that is bad management, and that's bro, this is a life lesson for everybody out there. Think about this as a manager, think about this as a parent. If you allow someone to get away with something and then it becomes so egregious because you've been allowing it, and then you discipline them, they are going to be hella upset about it. And they're gonna go, I don't know what happened. The reason why I'm doing it is because I'm getting away with it. I'm being allowed to do it. So stop putting all the blame on Tony, because the job of the referee is to penalize the player for doing something wrong. They never penalized him until the end of the game. That is not fair. And I don't care about people that, talk about, oh, fair is fair, whatever. No, I don't give a fuck. It isn't fair. That league needs to step in and go, there is a core problem with that. And the fact that the refs can decide when they're going to call a call based off of whatever they're feeling that day. And the fact that they did not call that call the entire game until the end is a knock on the refs, and it's knock on the league, because the league should have made sure that the refs are calling consistently. And this is a problem for not just this season, not that game, but it's been a problem for the past couple years. The egregious, like, blown calls, missed calls, bad calls, like on these players it's just bad. It's just bad. And it's just crazy how we have so many fans, right? Because you have a bunch of casuals that are going on, that they're going to go in there, and there are a lot of people flooding my comments talking about, oh, like, this is offsides. Yeah, you see, and this is the thing, right? Is a casual person is going to have a more realistic, conversation, right? Because you're going to tell the casual person, oh, well, the person lined up offsides, that's a penalty, you're not allowed to do that. They're like, okay, penalty. So if a casual person can go, that's a penalty, why is it so hard for the refs to call that penalty in the first quarter? I understand a warning, right? So again, I agree, there should be a warning. Again, I see both sides of it. You should, if a player does it one time and you're like, yo, hey, listen, Tony, you're lining up offsides, don't do it again. And the next time he does it, you call it. Boom, first quarter he does it. All right, cool. Now the tone is set. We now know that they're gonna call offsides if you line up offsides. And again, it's the same thing with baseball. If a pitcher is starting to pitch inside, what do? They warn both sides of the teams, right? They go, hey, warning, warning, stop it. They're there to ref the game, not dictate the game. They're dictating the game. Lock me in. All right, questions, comments, concerns. Ain't nobody in here, so we'll probably move on to the next topic. Because your boy's just yapping. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. So in this podcast, we're gonna talk about a lot of different things. We're gonna talk about sports, video games, random shit. I'm gonna be a little bit more looser in here because I want to be my authentic self. You know, I want you guys to enjoy me yapping. So please feel free to put your comments and all that stuff in there. But anyways, let's move on to the next topic. So I watched a video. Actually, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna actually find his video. What's his name? Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna find his name. So I'll link his video. I'll put his in the description. Shorty Index. Okay. Shorty Index. Let me add this to the thing. Edits, description, youtube.com/Shorty Index. Save. Hopefully you guys can see that. Basically, give me 1 sec, guys. I just wanna look up the video title that he has so that way you guys can. Actually, I should probably just copy this video. Yeah, let me do that. I'll be back. Let's do this. Copy. Edits. Paste. All right, now if I do this, come on. Copy. YouTube. Paste. No, I'm dumb. Perfect. All right, so I watched a video about is Shorty Index. And actually, can I just post it? Yeah, here it is. So here's the thing that one of the things that has really killed Call of Duty for me. And back in Black Ops 2, okay, now again, we can go so many different directions when we talk about Call of Duty, but I want to talk about this one specifically. So back in Black Ops 2, they had the gold challenges where you had to get, you know, or diamond, right? So once you got all the weapons in that thing gold, in like assault rifles, you got all the assault rifles gold, you got diamond. Okay. Not very hard, right? Like you didn't have to use a bunch of other stuff to go get other camos. And so if I remember correctly, back in Black Ops 2, like there wasn't the same energy to getting camos because it was a fairly new thing, right? Obviously in Black Ops 1, you had gold camo, but you had to get a certain prestige, right? And I feel like that was a lot better because then you had to earn the COD points. And once you're in the COD points, you can then buy the black, you know, the gold camo, which I think is a lot better in itself. And we'll get into some solutions in a minute. But I would say that after that, you know, they started getting these really, annoying camo challenges by adding all these extra things. All right. So if you wanted to go for another camo, you had to get all of these, you had to get all the weapons gold. And so now you're forcing players to use weapons they don't want to use, right? So that's the first step. Now you're forcing players, and I don't want to use the word forcing because everybody has their, in they have their option to do that. But I would argue that like Call of Duty doesn't have, and again, this is something else we can get into, but Call of Duty's depth of the game itself is not there. And the only real depth, because they took out prestige mode, is the camo grind. So a lot of players are just gonna camo grind, especially the first 2 months of the game. So yes, let's call it what it is. The developers are forcing players to run around with weapons they don't want to use to get a camo, which in itself might not seem that bad. But when you're playing, and this is the second point, right? When you're playing domination or when you're playing search and destroy, I mean, I don't know why you'd be camo grinding in search and destroy, but domination, hardpoint, some of the respawn game modes is now you have me, right? Let's just use me, for example. Me, I go in, I'm using a red gun and I'm trying to play the objective. This guy's over here running around with a knife. He's not trying to play the objective. He's throwing stuns, trying to rush at the, now he's flipping spawns because he's trying to rush into the spawn to get as many kills as he can, right? And so now here's the second point to that. So the first point is you got everybody using different weapons, which again, I agree with that idea that you would want a lot of people to use different weapons. But then I would ask you, why do you need everybody to use all the weapons? If you make the weapons good, people will use them. Let's stop hiding the fact that the weapons are not balanced right. So if you just made weapons viable, people would just naturally just use different weapons. So the first thing is you got everybody using all these different weapons, and weapons aren't as good, right, as some of the other weapons. So now you have players that might be good, but they're trash now because they're using trash weapons or they're doing, using a knife. But then what they're doing, right? Because let's be realistic. They're gonna go to the game modes that put the players in the same location on the map, right? And that give the more opportunity to get more kills. So why play team deathmatch when it only goes to 75 or now it's 100, and then people are camping and not moving around because there's no incentive to move around in team deathmatch. All they have to do is kill people. So why not sit somewhere and have people come to them, right? And so now what they're going to do is they're going to go to domination, hardpoint, and these respawn game modes, and they're going to try to do it there. So now the game modes that have depth lose the depth. Sorry, I just hit the mic. They now lose the depth because players aren't playing the objective. Okay? So you have a bunch of people running around with weapons they don't want to use or, aren't good with, or the weapons are trash. And now they're doing it in game modes that are made to play game. That's the depth part, right? That's the part where you play the objective. So now you have me, right? Who I'm your probably, now at this point in my life, an average Call of Duty player mindset. I hop on, I want to see if I can go 25 and 10. And I'm going to use kind of the best guns, and I'm going to play the objective, and I'm going to try to do well playing the objective and getting a lot of kills. Instead, my other 5 teammates are running around. One's got a sniper, one's got a riot shield, one's running around with a rocket launcher. The other one's, running around with, an SMG set up for hipfire because he's got to get the hipfire kills. And then I got another guy, using an LMG modded to be a submachine gun. And it's like all those weapons are not like competitive weapons. Not because they aren't, it's because the developers made the game to where they're not competitive. That's just what it is. And so with that being said, that is the problem with camo challenges, is you have all these people in the first 2 months of the game trying to get these challenges that are taking away the core depth of what the game modes are supposed to be. So here is what my suggestion would be to get back to, because again, we can bitch and complain about skill-based matchmaking, EOMM all day long. I agree with it. I don't think it should be in the game. It's very simple. Public match, ranked match, skill-based matchmaking can be a ranked match. I'm okay with that. EOMM, get that shit out of here. But skill-based matchmaking in a ranked playlist, absolutely. You need to match up. You know, there's tiers, right? You have 1 through 10. I'm a 5 player. I play 4 and 6s. That's it. Keep it simple. But here's what we need to do to fix it is, and this is a good suggestion that they made, that in the video you'll see, is have the camos be game mode specific. And this is, I think, such a great idea. And then what I would also add to is you can have specific camos after you played all the game modes to, go for. So the same way you would once you get like all weapons gold, you can, or diamond or whatever platinum, whatever, then you can go into the higher, interstellar camos. So here's the suggestion, right? If you're playing team deathmatch and your camo challenges are be in the top 3 on the leaderboard 10 times. Get 20 kills in a TDM 10 times. Get 100 assault rifle kills in TDM. Get 100 SMG kills in TDM, right? Make it not bare minimum, but make it simple. But they're playing the game mode the right way, right? If I'm playing TDM and I got to get 100 kills with my assault rifle, I'm probably subconsciously going to be a little bit more wanting to move around. But I will also say, though, too, it's a lot more passive for the game mode itself, right? I don't have to deal with people running around doing stupid stuff in TDM because I still know that no matter what I'm doing, all I have to do is get 100 kills, okay? That also correlates to domination, right? Domination should be about capturing the flags, right? Have 10 captures in a game 10 times. Capture and maybe be specific a little bit in this situation. Capture a flag 10 times. And that's how you get your camos, right? Have 5 defensive kills, right? Defensive kills 10 times. So in one game or something. That would bring back the drive to play the objective, but you would also get rewarded based off, you'd still be rewarded whether you were doing good or bad, right? And that's the thing, I think the reason why Call of Duty has fallen off so well. There's a lot of reasons why, but one of the things for me specifically is that when I play domination and I die on the B flag, I don't get anything for it. I don't get anything. I don't get no brownie points. I don't get no points on the scoreboard. I don't get anything for it. And due to the fact that nobody's playing the objective, why do I want to keep running to the B flag and dying? Now, if I was running to the B flag and it was I have to get 5 defensive kills. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strategically set up my class so I can have, a barricade, the wall, or I'm going to have smokes or something, or I'm going to, I maybe might get a UAV first, right? So what I'll do is I'll get on a 3 kill streak. Then I'll attempt to go to the B flag, get my UAV, and then I'm going to sit on the B flag and try to capture the B flag. Maybe I might be a little more communicative in the chat. I'm like, yo, guys, hey, let's go capture B flag. And then, you'll tell your teammates, oh, I got to get 3 kills. I got to get 3 more kills on the B flag. So you guys spread around B flag. I'm going to go to B flag. Yo, let me get these kills real quick. It would be more a community and more social with your camo challenges instead of saying all right, you need 100 kills with the MCW. What's up, Panda? I'm trying something different, bro. Trying to do a podcast. So let me get on my soapbox. So we're talking about camos. So yeah, so that's how you would work domination. And then in hardpoint's the same deal, right? if I'm playing hard point, you need a certain, like, let's say a hard point to get a camo, you would need, okay, so they would be like, you need to have 10 games where you have 30 seconds on the hard point. Or another one could be you need 10 games where you have 10 kills on the hard point. You know, like stuff like that to get people to play the objective more. And that's what that was such a good idea that Shorty Index had. Again, the link is in the chat if you guys want to go check that video out. It's such a good video because a lot of Camo Grinders, they'll sit here and say they're like, oh, well, I play domination because I'm just trying to get my camos. Like, but bro, like that's what's ruining Call of Duty. It's not you specifically, and you're not wrong to do that. Like, I don't knock you. I get it. You want to get your camo challenge as fast as you want, but as the developer in Activision, right, they need to understand, like, you guys want player retention, right? Player retention needs to understand that, like, if I hop on, everything that I do should be counting towards something. Nothing I do should be invalid, right? And that's the thing that I used to say all the time, especially when Capture the Flag used to be in the game. Every time I played Capture the Flag, everything I did counted. And what I mean by that is, like, if I ran with my teammate and we capture the flag, or we take their flag and we're running back to our base and I die, I laughed because I knew that me dying means that guy gets a flag capture. And I loved it. And that's what kept me playing, because no matter whether I did good, whether I did bad, whether I got a kill or whether I died, I knew that no matter what I was doing, it was helping me play the objective. Now, Capture the Flag is different. I don't know why they haven't brought it out. I don't know why they haven't brought it to these newer Call of Duties. I don't know why they took it out. But that's my point with these game modes. If I go to the hard point and I have to be on the hard point to earn, the time, but every time I get to the hard point, I immediately die, why would I continue to go there when it means nothing? If I knew that every second I was on there, it was counting towards a camo challenge, bro, I would always be everybody would be on the hard point. Everybody would literally sit on the hard point. Now, with that thought, people are going to argue. Okay, people are going to argue this, right? What happens when the challenges are done? There you go. So now, this is where you get the player retention. Is instead of making people do stupid challenges and making everybody do everything, just give more camos for things but longer. So for instance, if let's say I'm a solely domination player and I've done all my challenges and I got all my camos in there. So what you should do is the next challenge should be, you need to have a total of 1,000 seconds on the hard point. And then that would make you subconsciously throughout the time you're playing. Again, it hits two fronts. One, it's passive. So I don't have to do anything special to play the objective, right? I don't have to do anything else to get my camo. I just have to get on the hard point. The second thing to that is now it's making me play the objective subconsciously. Every time I go by the hard point, I know that it's like, man, like, I have to, if I go on this hard point for maybe 10, 20 seconds, then it's getting me closer to that next camo. And it doesn't have to just be a camo challenge. Like, we can obviously add more stuff. I think with Call of Duty, obviously, I don't personally like first-person shooter skins. I don't think it should be a thing. But I would also argue that everything that's in the game could be affected. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say, maybe like your perk, maybe like, so for instance, in the game, again, like, I don't really like that. I don't know. Maybe they could add something. Maybe they need to add like, like Black Ops 3 was it Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4 that had the end game kind of who was in first place and stuff. Infinite Warfare had that as well. That I don't mind. I don't mind that. So maybe you can still do skins, but like maybe there's just, maybe maybe there's just something else that you can do. You can add like a cool, like kind of like what Overwatch does, where they do the play of the game or whatever, and maybe your character does something different. Like that's something cool. So some stuff like that. So you can add a bunch more, but that's what I would do with the camel challenges. Is I would make them a lot more passive, but make them for the game modes instead of the weapons itself. Everybody shouldn't have to use every gun in the game to get a camo. Now you could continue to have that, but I just think that it would just, like the camo that is for the weapons versus the game modes. The game mode camo should be a lot better. Should be way, way better. 10 times better. And so that's what I would do. I would get rid of weapon camo challenges and make them game mode camo challenges. That's a good idea. Shorty Index, 100% his idea. Well, his fan base idea, his subscribers or whatever. That idea, I'm piggybacking off it because it is such a good idea. Because I would love to just hop into a game mode and know that everybody was trying to play the objective at some form. And again, like I said, I understand that if you were to complete everything, like if you were a domination player and let's just do hardpoint. If you're a hardpoint player and you completed all the camo challenges and you had your long-term things, I mean, you would, again, no matter what you were using, you would still subconsciously, and I would definitely there needs to be, and this is again, like I said, we can go in depth about Call of Duty. I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I don't want this podcast to go longer than an hour. Because I do have one more topic, but the one thing that they could do is they need to do a lot more emphasis on the game modes and give you more stuff for game mode playing, right? There's so many different layers to this. Like I said before, a lot of the game should be based around game modes. So perks should be around game modes. The equipment should be around the game modes. Like that stuff needs to be around game modes. And so what I would think too, that would be cool if you can get if there was leaderboards, bring back the leaderboards and see who has the most captures, most defends, most time played, most kills on the flag, and be rewarded for that. And obviously there's going to have, you have your ranked seasons. You should also have your public seasons too, right? Because not everybody wants to play ranked. And again, in public matches should be about time, more time played, whereas rank should be about how well you did in a certain time, right? So, this season I did this well, and then here's where I'm going into the next season. That's how I fully agree with it. I just think that they need to add that would be cool if I was the best, hard point player, right? I had the most time on a hard point. That'd be cool if I got a cool watch or something that specifically only hard point could get a watch because hard point represents time on a hard point, right? So only in hard point could you earn a watch for earning 10,000 times on 10,000 seconds or whatever you want to call it on the hard point. Or for instance, domination, maybe you get maybe you get a weapon charm with, the flags, the 3 different flags, or maybe you get, a banner that's, something, or, something like that. More incentive to play the objective, or more things that keep you engaged in the game. That's crazy. We're talking about engagement, but everybody says that skill-based matchmaking, from Activision and the publishers talk about how, the retention for skill-based matchmaking is good. It's not. Stop. How about you make a good game? And that's what we're talking about. So I can go so far into Call of Duty. We could talk about Call of Duty again. Like I said, if you guys want suggestions on what we talk about, absolutely put it in the comments. Whichever top three gets the most voted, we'll talk about those. And so let's move on to Panda. I don't know if you're still in here. If you have any questions, comments, if you want to talk or whatever, but just trying something new. I know it's probably not. I got to figure out what the niche is, but I believe the niche is kind of just going to be random. Maybe it starts off with just gaming, and then I go into maybe that's what I'll do is I'll start off with a gaming, and then I'll go into whatever, because I did sports first, but it was kind of on my head. Woo! I can gab all day. This is actually a good idea. Hold on. I kind of like this. I could talk all day long. All right, so let's move into the third topic. All right, so what I wrote down was online games have no depth. And so, like, I don't want to come on here and say, ah, man, there's no good games out there. All games are trash. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because every game isn't for me, and I get that. And so, obviously, the main game that I want to play is Call of Duty, and it just doesn't happen to have depth. As you guys can see, as we just talked about with the camo challenges, it just doesn't have the depth. It's not fulfilling enough to go into a match and run around and die over and over again and not get anything for it. Now, I understand you're going to take that the wrong way. Like, well, you're dying. Well, yeah, that's what Call of Duty is. You get a kill, die, get a kill, die, get a kill, die. Hey, I'm glad that you don't want to play Call of Duty. I'm glad because it's very, very, as a Call of Duty fan who's been playing Call of Duty since 2007, bro, it's frustrating that Call of Duty is the state it is. I actually was thinking about doing a stream of playing either Infinite Warfare or like Black Ops 2. I probably do Infinite Warfare. I don't know if I could play it on my Xbox, but I'll probably think about it. But hey, but that's just what it is, right? So as a Call of Duty player, the game doesn't have depth, and people are gonna say, oh well, why don't you try Warzone? I mean, I don't like as much as I play Fortnite. Battle Royales don't give me that fulfillment either. It's the same thing except with time, right? I can be in a match for 20 minutes and 15 of the matches I'm running around gathering loot. And then like I don't get the same how do I say this? I don't get the same endorphin, whatever you want to call it. I don't get the same positive vibes winning a Fortnite match because I already know at the end it's a 1v1. And I've never really been a solo type 1v1 type player because like it's just not fun to me. Like when I was growing up, I played baseball, football, and basketball. I didn't play sports by myself. When I play Call of Duty, I play with multiple teammates because it's a like I want to see how well our team can do against your team because at any given day, one-on-one, anybody can beat anybody. Right? And I don't like no, I want to build. I have a team building mindset. I want to build a team, and then I want to destroy you. When boots left the ground, I was out. Hey, listen, Advanced Warfare didn't like Black Ops 2. I mean Black Ops 3. I think was. I don't want to say it's Black Ops 2 2.0 because it's a totally different game. But I think that's what turned me off with Black Ops 3 is that I was thinking it was going to be Black Ops 2.5 just updated and then they totally changed it and they added the specialists and then they added the movement. I didn't really like it. But then when Infinite Warfare came out and nobody fucking knows this. And Panda, I'm going to curse on this stream if you don't mind, but I am going to be more myself. But if nobody remembers, Call of Duty had Frontline. It was a team deathmatch based game mode where you had sides and it went to 200, I believe. Each kill was like a point or 2 points or whatever. And you would play to 100 and then you would flip sides and play to 100. So you always played both sides of the map and it was fun. And I loved that game mode. I played Infinite Warfare the entire year. But anyways, back to my point is that, Call of Duty doesn't have depth. I look at, like I said, you guys are going to say, oh, well, go play Warzone. I just don't get the same, I don't get the same enjoyment. And Warzone to me is a little bit too overcomplicated, especially with how they have to integrate everything into the game, right? So you have Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, right? With its own weapon stats. And then to go play Warzone, they have different stats. And then you have to find out new attachments. So I've been playing the game for a month now. And then I got to go play Warzone with all these different weapons, all these different attachments, different weapons. That's like, no, bro. Like, that's not casual anymore. And I'm not saying, like, again, as a hardcore Call of Duty player, right? I don't want the game to be for casuals. But as a hardcore Call of Duty player, it is frustrating dealing with all the bullshit that's in Call of Duty now and then trying to go play Warzone and try to figure out what fucking weapons to use. There's so many fucking weapons, so many attachments. Make it simple. Make it fucking simple. Make it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying? So no. And then zombies, I never really liked zombies anyway. So, zombies is never been for me. So I'm not knocking zombies. It just never was for me. So to me, there's only really two things. You have Call of Duty 6v6 and Warzone. And I'm not playing Ground War. Like, I want to play 6v6. That's what the original Call of Duty was. And I know I can change. Because I kind of did it with Fortnite. And we'll talk about Fortnite in a minute. But I kind of did it with Fortnite where I switched from no builds to builds. But I could switch from, 6v6 to 20v20 or whatever. Or go play, what's it called? War mode. And it's like, I don't want to do all that. War mode doesn't have kill streaks. And then if I go play 20v20, there's 10 of them are bots. So I don't want to deal with that. So then let's talk about Fortnite. Okay, now Fortnite, you'll be like, man, Fortnite's got a lot of depth, all right? Again, I like Fortnite's simplicity, right? When we play Fortnite, you have solos, duos, trios, and squads. Okay, very simple process. It's all the same. I love that. No matter what, if you random queue, if you play with a team, if you play with your friends, it's all the same idea. Get a dub. Be the last team standing. I'm not knocking it, but for some reason for me, it doesn't fill my cup enough. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to tell me, well, why don't you go play other game modes that are faster or, this, that, and the third. And to me, I've always had this issue, and this is just a personal issue for me, is I always want to play the game mode that the game was supposed to be played. So when I think of Fortnite, and I'm not talking about creative and Lego and all that stuff. I'm just talking about Fortnite and the Battle Royale part. When I think of Fortnite and Battle Royale, the game is supposed to be 100 players on the entire map, and you got to be the last one standing. That is the ultimate challenge. That's what the game is based off of. So if I go play a game that's like 50 players, and it's like this modded creative map where, you divide the teams and they're around this perfect circle and they have their little base and then they build out and to me, that's not the real game. And I don't want to play a knockoff version of what the game is supposed to be. It's almost like a pride / proving thing. I want to prove to everybody that in 100 game mode, right? Because that's where people are going to say, are you good or not? How many wins do you have in Fortnite? No one's going to say, oh, how many 1v1 box fights do you have in creative? No one gives a fuck. No one cares, right? Now, to be fair, there will be people that care. I get that. And maybe I just have the wrong friend group. Maybe I just, have that. But again, I also compare it to the competitive side. And maybe this is, again, a problem that I have. I go based off what the competitive side does, all right? The competitive side plays basically the same game mode. There's 100 players, and they try to be the last one standing. Now, they have a different, format where they have to get points, which we could talk about that. We could talk about that, in a different book. But a lot of people that... You mean the people that care about creative stuff and stats? Panda, if you can answer that? A lot of people that care. There probably is a lot of people that care about the creative stuff. But like I said, ranked, I try to compare the game to ranked. So the closest thing to ranked play is the public match that's 100 players, and you got to be the last one standing. So to me, going and playing creative, and this is just a me thing. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but for me, I don't get the fulfillment of going and playing creative versus playing the actual game mode that everybody else, was built off of. I don't know. I've just never been able to separate it. And this is why it was so hard for me to go from build mode to zero build. Because in my head, right, the best players play build mode. And so to me, to compare myself to the best players, I forced myself to play build mode. But then eventually I kind of got frustrated and I was like, not that I'm not good at build mode, but it's the fact that I don't have the time to put in to be good at build mode. And so why am I going to force myself to struggle through this when I can just go play no build, zero build, and have a better time? And so that was what made it easier. And so when it comes to, again, the fun and enjoyment and depth of the game, like I'm having to make I'm having to make um what's it called? I'm having to make adjustments to the how and what I play to enjoy the game, and I don't like that either. Panda, you make a great point. Creative lets you practice your mechanics. Here is what I'm going to argue. And not necessarily argue, but here's what I'm going to say for me personally, right? This could be a cop out. You could take it however you want. This could be a cop out, whatever. But I'm going to say it, and you just tell me how you think. I don't care to be a professional player. So I don't want to spend the time practicing when the time that I have is with my girlfriend or even you, Panda. I would want to go play the game mode. And I know that's like that might be an excuse, but you have to understand. I went to the gym. I'm door dashing all day. I just want to come home and I just want to hop on and get a couple dubs on Fortnite and get off. I just want to learn how to play the game and get better through just playing. Now, if I eventually have more time and free time, absolutely, I would dedicate. And I know there's a lot of warm-up routines that you could do for 10 minutes, and I get all that. I don't even want to do all that. I just want to hop on and have fun. And so if I had more time, and the way I am, just me personally, because I'm kind of addicted in a sense, because I did this when I was playing Fortnite earlier, a couple months back, I was doing that. I was spending 15 minutes warming up before we played a build mode. But I realized that it was pissing her off because she wanted to play and she was waiting for me. But like I said, if I had more time, I would invest, maybe even off stream. I'd invest an hour, 2 hours into practicing build mode. I would do that. But right now, just for me personally, I don't want to do that. And I'm not knocking anybody that does, but that's just me. Like I said, that's just me. I like with Call of Duty. And Ron, that's a perfect point, bro. Like I said, the time that I was, spending these past 2 months trying to work on streaming, I wasn't making money. And so what I want to do is get back to making money and then using my free time to do a stream. But do you guys want to watch me stream practicing the edit things? No. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but in my head, that's what I'm thinking. I just want to hop on and play Fortnite. And so again, circling all the way back to the main point is Fortnite to me is for me, just me personally, is limited to the Battle Royale mode. I know there's a bunch of creatives and I do that. There's times where me and the girl will play like the Tycoons, on Fortnite. We'll play the Tycoons. I kind of like the Tycoons, but like when I want to get my competitive fun juice in and I want to play Fortnite, let's think about it again. I spawn into the map. I land in an area. I loot. Hopefully there's players. Now, if you guys didn't know, there's a bot that follows you to the spawn like 30 seconds after the game and you land. A bot flies to you so you can get a free kill, if you guys didn't know that. And you loot, you traverse the map wherever the circle goes. Maybe you go to the tower and you get the key card and you get that. Obviously you probably went to one of the places to get a medallion and you go there. And then, you try to survive. And there's two things to coming to that. There's avoiding fights so you can last longer, or there's you trying to kill the players so you can get more kills. But, doing that one, you're probably going to die. Your chances of dying are going to be higher. And for me, that doesn't fill my cup. It's not enough depth for me. That's why if you see me, I was using the sniper, because what fills me up is getting kills, right? Like, I want to know that I killed you. Like, I killed you, bro. Like, I shot you, you died. I like that. Now, with Fortnite, it's a contradiction to that, because the idea is the less fights you're in, the more opportunity you have to win. And now, like, I want to win too, right? So I want to go in, drop 20 and get a win. The argument again, right? the argument again is going to be get good at the game. But in me, I don't have time to get good at the game because I don't want to spend the time in practice mode for an hour and go play build mode, like, or, just go play in general. So you see how, to me, Fortnite in itself doesn't have that depth for me. Whereas like with Call of Duty back in the day, my natural talent would alone be good in the game, and I would practice playing the game. And I would just get better because I got to see how the real players play against me, and I would just adapt, and that was more engaging for me because I'd be like, okay, well, that guy camps up there. So how do I figure out how to kill him in live time, right? They always say the best practice is playing live games. You can condition all day long, but until you're running up and down the court in basketball, you're not going to be in condition until you get used to it. The best practice is the live practice. And so like that's what I have. And you're right. I might have a COD brain, bro, like low key, but don't get me wrong, there's more games we can talk about. And you're right. Sometimes not taking fights is a good strategy, but like my fucking competitive, I want to run around and shoot people brain is like, this isn't fun. And so again, this is what I mean, right? We talked about Call of Duty. Now we're talking about Fortnite. With the depth of Fortnite, like that's not enough depth for me, and there's not really like challenges for camos. Practice like you play. I mean, the only way to do that is if you were to play. I mean, the only way theoretically to do that would be is if I was like playing ranked and then I would go to public matches or, regular, what is it? I don't know. They just call it Battle Royale, right? If I was to go to Battle Royale, play Battle Royale, and then like practice what I was doing and then go to ranked and do it. Like, yeah, I could do that, but like, I don't want to play ranked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But again, my thing is the depth of the game in itself. I don't want to talk about too much. I just want to keep it simple. Getting 100 kills or, playing against 100 people and trying to be the last one and getting like one kill at the end of the game is not enough for me. Like, I don't mind doing it in little spurts. It does give me a little bit, but it's not enough. And so let's talk about, Lego Fortnite and Lego and not Lego Lego Fortnite. And then you have the Rocket League, and then you have Rocket League. You have the Rocket Racing, and then you have the musical. Well, first off, I never played. I did not like. Not never played. I did not play Rock Band or Guitar Hero. I did not like it. Right. I'm gonna be honest with you. My fingers aren't fast enough to like. I understand that like you could play different levels, and the first level is like it's cool to hear the song and play the song, but I'm not into music like that. So that mode haven't even played yet. All right, racing. Don't like racing games. Haven't even played it yet. And Fortnite Lego is kind of like Minecraft. And let's be honest, at this point, everybody plays Minecraft for 2 weeks and gets off. I'm not saying that that's a thing. I'm not saying everybody does that. And I'm not saying that like, that's not a valid thing or people can do that. But like, to me, like, again, when I hop on and I have a couple games, I want to be going in the flow. Like, you guys have to understand my brain. When I go outside and play basketball, like, listen to this. I can be out of shape as fuck. And I can run up and down and be sweaty and fucking tired and fucking exhausted. I'll be out there for 3-4 hours, bro. I don't give a fuck. You know why? Because there's constant going up and down, moving, going. Like, you can do so many different things each time down. Things can happen. It's engaging. And this is just my, like, I don't know, 80. I don't want to call it. I've never had ADHD or whatever, but I'm not going to get into that. But basically, my brain needs to be on go 100% of the time. If you guys didn't know, I worked at Walmart, and I was really good at working freight because all I wanted to do was go, and all I was do is next box. Like I was the freight king, like literally dubbed freight king. I was the best freight thrower in the store. Even when I became manager, I was still the best freight thrower in the store because nobody it was a competitive thing. I did not want people to be better than me because I wanted you to know that I don't care. Like it was a confidence thing too. Like if I was in there throwing freight and I was going faster than you, you're not good. And it was just like a thing to keep the associates like engaged. And so again, the Lego Fortnite, all right, is cool. Like when my like I want to build something part comes on, but that shit don't last long. That should be lasting like a hot like hour, and then I'm like, all right, I'm bored. Like, so again, this isn't for everybody, but this is what I'm saying. To me, online games are not, they don't have no more depth anymore, bro. And then I think about like Madden and 2K, bro. Oh, we can get into that shit all day long. Madden and 2K, bro. Madden and 2K are pay to win. And as much as like I'll say that like I don't want to spend the time to get good at Fortnite. I don't want to spend the time to, get good at Madden or 2K, but I'm not spending $1 million to upgrade my team. I'm not doing that. And the problem with Madden is that you do these boring, repetitive, same challenges over and over again to get free players. And by the time you finish the challenges, if you're not like a super fucking, I don't want to say nerd, but if you're super fucking motivated to do them and you're sitting there all day for 8 hours doing them, like, that is like, bro, by the time you get done with the challenges and get the card is like it's outclassed already. Like there's already better cards out because they do this shit where they give you limited time cards that are like the best cards in the game and you have to buy packs to get them. It's just a pain in the butt. And then again, on top of that, like as a player who has a trash team that's at a 65 overall, you're putting me up against 80, 90 overall teams. And it's like, bro, this isn't fun. And so like, I can try to go in there and be like, I can try to go in there and try to be good, but like, I wouldn't be able to make a mistake because if I make a mistake at some point, his players are going to do better on the game. So then there's no depth for me as a casual MUP player to go in and be like, yo, like I just want to play, maybe I wanted to play one game against a player, maybe 2 a day. And think about it. Sometimes if you score 2 touchdowns and you're up 14-0, people leave the game. And sometimes that game lasts like 5 minutes. And then like, that's it. Like, that's not like, it's like these developers for these online games don't understand how to keep people engaged, and the reason why people play, and I made a YouTube video on this, go check this out. It's a long one, but it's a good one, is the reason why people like playing public, like when they go to their neighborhood basketball court, or they get all their group of friends and they go out and they play football. Let me tell you why. There's a broad variety of players. All the players think they can play all different types of positions. You have players that think that they're the GOAT and they want to go out there and prove it. You have players who have no clue, what the fuck's going on, but they just want to be out there hanging out with their friends. And when anything happens, everything is like stimulating. If a bad player scores a touchdown, great. If a good player scores a touchdown, great. If a bad player makes a mistake, we laugh at him. If a good player makes a mistake, we laugh at him. If you're not having fun doing quarterback, you switch to wide receiver. If you're not having fun being wide receiver, you switch to quarterback. If you're playing basketball, you bring up the ball, you're the point guard. If you want to just score in the post, you do that. Like, but the opportunities are there, and that's why people play. It's because it's not even about the game itself. It's about the people you're playing with and how like random stuff can happen. Not like random in the sense of like what your skill level is, but random in like what people are going to do that day. Because people can come in, go to the basketball court that day and they had just smoked weed and been high as shit all day. And now they're coming in, lollygagging. But then that same player the next day didn't smoke any weed, comes in and he's the fucking best player on the court. Like, but that going in because obviously you get to see that. And that's where we tie it back to the online games. The lack of depth probably more ties to how they keep trying to manipulate manipulate the way that the games are played, because they're trying to match all these people up together, and it's stupid. And so that's kind of like where I'm at with online games. I don't play Battlefield because to me Battlefield is just, you jump in and you randomly weed equals lazy. That's funny. With Battlefield, you kind of jump in and for me, my experience with Battlefield, because I used to play what was it? Was it Battlefield 1 or Battlefield I forgot to what was it? It was here, let me look it up. I'll tell you the last Battlefield I actually enjoyed playing because I was decent at it, because it was simple. Battlefield games. Yeah, it was Battlefield 1. So Battlefield 1 was the old time set. Yeah, in 2016. Yeah, this was when I was in the army. And I liked Battlefield 1 because I was good at it. And the maps were a little bit smaller. So it was a lot easier for me to understand. And so like I was able to, learn a little bit more of the game, and then they just started getting back to these massive ass maps, and it just wasn't fun for me. So, that's just kind of what it is. Online games for me are just not like, they just don't have the same depth as they used to, and I should be playing a lot more single player campaign, games, but even with like GTA 5, like that game turned into GTA Online as soon as it came out. Like GTA Online took over GTA 5, like obviously I get it. Like the campaign is usually, it's meant to be played one. The story mode is meant to be played one and move on. But like, I feel like there's ways you can make story modes be able to play multiple times through, or have a living, breathing world after you've completed the game to where you can continue to play it offline without other people. Or they just need to do a better job of making to where you can play a lot more casual games online. RuneScape is one of them. I don't know if you guys ever played RuneScape, but RuneScape is definitely one of those games where like, to me, RuneScape is one of those games where I like enjoyed and I've played on and off so many years. The problem is again, it's the grind, like I know games are meant to be long and stuff, but it's just frustrating, and it would be nice to be able to complete stuff. I want to say that I've completed a game, bro. I haven't completed a game probably since GTA 5. Like, and actually beat the story mode, and I even played it again so I can do the money glitch where you do all the what's it called? Where you do the where you invest your money or whatever. And so I don't know. That's just where my head's at. I hope you guys enjoyed this little stream podcast. You guys can help me name it, but as of now, I kind of just have it as a, what do I have it at? Where's the name? Can we get this out there? I have it. What you yapping about? Because that's kind of what I'm yapping about. Like I said, if you guys want to hear me talk about topics, put them in the comments below. Whichever ones get like the most likes, like we'll pick those. Today we did and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an overlay, and I'm going to have like, I'm going to say what topics they are, and then I'm going to do a timestamp so that way you guys know where I'm talking about. So if you guys want to watch the stream later, you guys can go back and watch it at certain points. But today, if you guys, the yapping, that's good. The first topic we talked about was the Chiefs call. If you guys watch sports, the Chiefs had a call against them, which, reverted a touchdown. Go watch the first part of this. Then the next one was about camo challenges, how camo challenging in Call of Duty ruins Call of Duty. It does. And then I talked about online games has no depth for me personally. You guys can take that with what you will. I think video games nowadays are about making money instead of just making a good game that people will buy. And then once you buy it, I mean, honestly, Fortnite is the best example of that. It's a free game. People play it, and then people make their money based off of the microtransactions. Now, they're a little fucking pricey, but that's besides the point. you know, I do love all the collabs they do in Fortnite. Again, I just wish the depth of Fortnite was a little bit better. Um, but yeah, so I think as of now we'll do this once a week. Um, I like I said in the beginning, I'm thinking about doing a podcast with my girlfriend. That'll be a different YouTube channel, whatever. If you guys want to see that, let me know. Um, I don't know what we're gonna call it because she has a lot to talk about. A lot of like I want to talk about real shit with her, like some like you know controversial, not controversial to the point where we're like gonna get canceled or anything, but like stuff that's gonna get people's opinions and because I don't care. Like, bro, I was in the army. If you ever in the army, bro, like, bro, I've anything that anybody says doesn't bother me, bro. Like, I don't really care. Like, not in a bad way. Just you understand. Like, I don't like, people have their opinions. They have their comments. They're gonna say stuff based off of emotion. And I understand that. So it's not gonna affect me. I'm not gonna get mad about it. But I like this style. I love talking. So this actually works out for me. I can just sit here and just ramble on and talk. And I feel like I'm better when I'm talking like this. Like, I feel like I can elaborate and say what I want to say a lot more clear than, kind of when I'm playing like a match, so I kind of like that. And it kind of takes the pressure off. If I can have one of these a week, it kind of takes the pressure off of when I'm playing, like, streaming a game. So that way, like I can focus on the game. And if you guys want to talk about stuff, like I can say, okay, revert to the podcast, that'd be pretty cool. That's something I'm going to try this. What's today? I don't have a watch on. What's today? Tuesday. I don't know if I'll do it Tuesdays. It'll probably be more on the weekend. Man, I gotta figure stream out. I gotta figure schedule out. But hey, Panda, I appreciate you stopping by. Ron, I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully, this thing got 9 views. Hopefully they catch a topic they want me to yap about. The yapping. I like what you yapping about though. I mean, I didn't really think about it. I always think everybody's like, everybody says in my comments, because, on TikTok, they be like, what you yapping about? Like, bro's just yapping, and it's just like, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious because everybody that talks about stuff probably has some validity to their point. But anyways, with that being said, if you guys are new to the channel, if there is anybody new, maybe watching and not saying anything, go hit that subscribe button. We're trying to do different stuff. Like I said, your boy's getting back into DoorDashing, so there'll probably be a little bit less streams, probably a little bit less YouTube videos. I'm not stopping, but just bear with me. I'm just gonna I want to make content when I want to make content. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to force it down y'all throats. I want to make good content for you guys. Like, I want you guys to feel like what I'm thinking about and what my passions are. Like, I do have a lot of stuff to say, and when I do say stuff, I feel like I have like some good points to things. Not some, but like, when I say it, like I say it with a good. So this is something I'm gonna probably try for a couple times, see if anybody likes it. And again, if you guys do enjoy it, hit that like button. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.